Okay. I'm going to pick one guy that I think that you are too high on. And
I'm not too high on anyone.
I'm going to blend this actually. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to blend this into a two-way category of me defending a guy that I'm higher on than you and criticizing a guy that you're higher on than me via a segue. And I'm going to say that you're too high on Javonte Williams and too low on JK Dobbins. You're on the wrong side of the ACL chart here. So I have both these guys in a similar tier. I actually have JK Dobbins ranked ahead of Javonte Williams within the tier, straight up. And have, of course, JK Dobbins is cheaper. And so that becomes actually much more buy. And basically the idea is with both of these guys, we like them as prospects, both bulletproof prospects, I believe, correct?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Round 2 picks, right? Similar draft capital, similar prospect profile. Both with kind of similar rookie years in a sense where, if you want to vaguely pick it, nits, whatever, but in the sense that they both seemingly seem like pretty good players, were never given the full bell cow role, come into the next year with a presumptive step forward, and it gets totally ruined by injury, right? I think the difference is, we've seen J.K. Dobbins already have the struggle to come back in year 3, and so that's driven his market down, I think, in people's eyes. But in reality, we just saw him already get through the bad year that Javonte Williams is about to have. Now we get the J.K. Dobbins is fully recovered, healthy year, instead of having to suffer through an ACL just ruined the third year of my career year, which is now in store for Javonte Williams. So I would rather bet on the guy who I think is vaguely similar, but is now entering health territory where I can potentially realize that upside immediately. Whereas, every injury is different. You never know for sure. But I think that the odds are low that we're getting that immediate production out of Javonte this year. I think that the more likely upside scenario from Javonte is that, either he starts on the pop or he starts active, but he's getting just, some portion of the touches. And then by the end of the year, he gives you enough to get excited about what we're going into next year. Whereas I think J.K. Dobbins has the upside of just coming in and dominating from week 1.
This is the take you want to go with?
It's the take I want to go with. Yeah. I want to bet on the possession of knees. You don't prioritize knees in your running back analysis.
I'm just sitting here looking at. I just pulled up J.K. Dobbins because I was flummoxed. I was trying to wrap my head around this take that you're saying out loud for everyone to hear. The whole world can hear this. The whole world is listening, and you're telling me 10 minutes ago that you don't want Cam Akers because he didn't catch no passes. And now you're telling me J.K. Dobbins can come in and just dominate from the start.
He's actually good.
J.K. Dobbins has 120 receiving yards in his fucking career.
But he's actually good at football, right? We actually know this. Cam Akers, we're hoping maybe kind of, sort of. You don't even think he is. J.K. Dobbins has, at every level of his career, from college into the NFL until he got his knee lopped off, been an extraordinary running back.
Who doesn't catch passes?
Well, he
doesn't catch passes. He
caught passes. Not like a ton in college, but he caught passes to a sufficient degree.
Passes in college.
He caught passes to a sufficient degree in college. And in fact, he was one of the guys who had more creative receiving usage and when he was prioritized. And I think a lot of it's been a function of the offense. They just don't throw to running back position. But we're entering a lot of uncertainty. Will Lamar Jackson be back? Probably. We're not 100% sure. Will Greg Roman be back? Definitely not. We know for a fact that he will not be back.
That's true.
Is there an opportunity for J.K. Dobbins to play a more of a pass game role now without, being a rookie and getting eased into things? It's certainly possible. I don't think that he has the same level of pass catching upside Javonte Williams does. If they were both at the same level of health expectation, I would prefer Javonte Williams for that reason. But I prefer J.K. Dobbins as a runner. I think he's a better runner of the football in terms of not just being a guy who's able to break tackles and put up fancy missed tackles for stats that go into PFF tweets, but actually convert those into breakaway runs consistently. And I don't think that it's innate to him that he struggles with catching the football. The only real reason why we're very, very doom and gloom about his pass catching ability is mostly off of 1 year where he was a rookie and he was an offense that doesn't throw to any running backs. I think that he can do it. And I think that there's some level of untapped upside that we're being a little bit too doom and gloomy about. And now he has that uncertainty around him in terms of a potential new scheme. They might be able to utilize him more in that area. I think it's very possible. I'm not saying he's going to go catch 70 balls or 60 balls, but I think that he can, with his level of rushing talent and the potential that this Baltimore scheme that's always been this multi-back scheme could continue to evolve under a new offensive coordinator. I don't see a reason why he couldn't be that more conventional bell cow type running back who gets 270 carries and 40 receptions. I think that's entirely within his range of outcomes, and he could do it while possibly being one of the most effective running backs in the league. So I think there is a legitimate upside to this profile.
I think that you're wishing upon a star, and I love it. If you're going to wish upon a star, you wish upon a star at a guy like this. Like this is the star you should be wishing upon. I'm okay with wishing upon this star.
Wishing upon a star. I mean, of course, I'm not saying this is what's most likely to happen, but I'm making a case, right? We're making a case.
Yeah, you're wishing upon a star. It's fine. I just don't know why you wouldn't wish upon Cam Akers' star when, like why wouldn't you do that?
Well, he's not good. JK Dobbins is good. I mean, JK Dobbins, I think it's within the range of possibilities that JK Dobbins is like in the best running back in the league type conversations at the end of next year.
So you would rather pay a first-round pick for JK Dobbins than pay a second-round pick for Cam Akers, just to be clear.
Well, not like an early first-round pick.
No, like
I have him. Yeah, I would pay.
He's valued a mid-first right now.
Let's say I would pay.
In fact, he's 200 fantasy calc points above him of first, which is I credit that to be a mid-first. I don't know if that's actually accurate.
I'm not particularly sure what their terminology is. I would pay let's say the 107 for JK Dobbins.
So you don't even like him as much as the market then. Why are you buying him? The market likes him more than you do.
If Drew, if all we do is just bring up the amount in picks from fantasy calc, then every single player is a buy. Literally every single one of them is a buy because we value picks. Bring up the trades again. Let's do this again. Let's do this for every player. Bring up.
I'll bring up the trades. I'm bringing up the trades for Jacqueline. What's his real name? Jacqueline. Jacqueline.
Oh,
something like that.
I think you're like mixing it with Jacqueline. Yeah,
Jacqueline. Sorry, not. Hey, pulling up the trades right now. Here we go. Let's see. Zay Jones at a 23 first.
Oh. Does it say when the 23 first is?
No, it's just the 23 first.
I don't know then.
Consider it a mid first. Zay Jones at a mid first, or JK Dobbins.
Nah, if it's like the 1-8, yes. If it's higher than that, then probably not. I don't care about Zay Jones for what it's worth.
Okay, that's rude. Sorry, Zay Jones, mom. Hope you're not listening. We love him, just not in this scenario. Okay, JK Dobbins or a 2023 first.
Okay, can you pick any of these that don't just have a vague first?
These are like the only ones that are like one-offs. Everything else is like a huge conglomerate of picks. Okay, let's try this one. This one is a little bit more straightforward. It's JK Dobbins or DJ Moore?
JK Dobbins.
Another JK Dobbins or DJ Moore. Apparently, that's a popular trade. If you have JK Dobbins or if you have DJ Moore, you can maybe get this dude for him.
Or the opposite.
Dobbins or Josh Jacobs.
You might be able to get Denniston Oliver Moore Jr. How do I know that offhand? That was impressive. Anyway, I would definitely rather have Josh Jacobs than J.K. Dobbins. That's disrespectful. Actually, that's like a disrespectful take.
Like these are the only 1-for-1 trades for Dobbins. I think the trade market for Cam Akers is considerably more appealing.
Okay, here's the other side of things. So his fantasy calc rank right now is 19. His fantasy calc rank right now is 19. Okay, here are some following running backs that are ahead of him that I would rather have J.K. Dobbins than: Javonte Williams, Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon.
These are all guys going behind him or ahead of him?
At least as of 2 weeks ago, those were all guys going ahead of him. Joe Mixon probably slid behind him, but the rest of these guys, I imagine, are mostly stable.
Yeah, I'm probably taking most of the other guys.
Okay, fair enough.
I can't believe
that's why we disagree.
So let's just finish this. Or let me go back.
The Josh Jacobs trade is nuts. Josh Jacobs is like RB8 on keep trade cock. Here's an idea. Don't trade the RB8 for the RB19 straight
It's like, here, I got an idea. Let's put this on the block. How about I give you my 3rd round pick and you give me your 7th round pick? Is that a good deal?
Right. Yeah.
Fuck. So like, this is why we always trade at cost. I cannot stress enough. You trade at cost. Do not follow your own analysis. You're not that good, I promise.
Yeah, at least like near cost. Or we can talk about that sometime, but
near cost. Yeah. So yeah, JK Dobbins, I think he has basically no upside. I think he's Nick Chubb kind of at best is what you can project for him. There is a world in which, the Ravens trade Lamar Jackson, they get back someone who likes throwing to running backs, and then the offense cranks up the pass volume and they don't get any wide receivers. So necessarily somebody has to catch the ball, and maybe it's JK Dobbins. Like, there's a world out there where this happens. I just wouldn't be betting on it at a mid-first round pick price. I would considerably just much rather have other things. The Javonte Williams side, though,
yeah,
I get it. He's not going to be good for the first at least half the year, maybe even the whole year. Like, I think that's
right, because it's not a clean pair. That's the issue, right? If it was like, now I have issues with Breece Hall's cost too because it's so high, but like if he had the Breece Hall injury, I'd be more interested. But like the fact that he also had a torn meniscus and an ACL, so he had to do prehab, that's a tough injury to have.
The thing with Javonte Williams is that you don't get profiles like this at prices like this very often. Like, this dude had 43 receptions as a rookie in a timeshare, and he's like 6 foot and 220 pounds?
He's only
5'10", 212 pounds. He's a little smaller than I remembered. 5'10", 212 pounds with 42 receptions or 43 receptions in a timeshare as a rookie. Like, this is a profile that just doesn't come around very often. Now you're putting Sean Payton and hopefully a bounce back from Russell Wilson. It's all coming together. Maybe he sucks for the first half of the season, and that's possible, but that's already priced in. Like, he isn't all that expensive anymore. He's JK Dobbins' price, for crying out loud. So you could just get that, sit on it for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks maybe, and maybe he's healthy by the playoffs and he wins your league. Maybe he isn't and you win your league next year, like the following year, 2024. In any event, we're getting a player in a premium location with a established NFL bell cow skill set already in place, and I'm just going to ride the injury until he's no longer injured. And I don't care if he doesn't score points this year. At his price, I don't like, it doesn't matter to me. I'm buying him for when he's healthy in 12 months. That's where I'm at with Javonte.
I agree with all of your logic if I felt a little bit more comfortable about the player. Like, when this was like Saquon Barkley, my take was like, this bet might not hit now, but it's going to hit eventually. And so if you have to pay too much now and, you have to just buy in more later, whatever, it's Saquon Barkley. Javonte was his receiving stats in college are almost identical to JK Dobbins. Like, he had more raw volume, but like his receiving yards market shares are like almost the exact same. He comes into the NFL and, he's like a 4.6 tackle breaking back. And he did a lot of really good tackle breaking, but his overall rushing profile was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. For being a rookie, fine is good. He comes into second year. He still wasn't really a workhorse. Basically, the first game of his career in which it was like, this guy's the workhorse, was the game that he got injured. The first 3 games, he was still splitting with Melvin Gordon, who ended up being so bad that they cut him. So I'm just not quite as convinced that Javonte Williams is so locked in that they're not just going to add competition, that they're not going to give themselves contingency outcomes. And like, what is it going to take for Javonte to just get this upside all back in? Like, is he going to survive to the point where he's actually healthy enough to realize that upside? I hope so. That would be great. I mean, we need more players like that, but I'm a little leery of it. That's all.
See, you're like complaining about his workload in the games with Melvin Gordon. He had 12, 4, 5 targets. JK Dobbins hasn't had 12, 4, 5 targets in his life. In his entire life. His first 3 games has more targets than JK Dobbins has had in his whole career.
That's a true fact. Yeah, that is true. Is that true?
I don't know. That might be a bit facetious, but it's close.
It seems like it might be, so I didn't want to let it challenge.
Let's check targets. We got 8 in 2022. He had 24 targets as a rookie. So Javonte Williams had half the targets of J.K. Dobbins' entire career in his first 3 games of his timeshare this year.
You talked me into Javonte a little bit. You haven't talked me out of JK because I'm still pretty interested in buying him. But you've talked me into Javonte a little bit, and I have some Javonte because there was just some deals where I was like trying to do deals last year on some teams that I wasn't competing with, and then people are like, "Oh, I don't want to give you a first round pick, but I'll give you Javonte," and I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I don't know, same idea." And I was planning to flip all those, but maybe I'll keep a couple. I don't have that much Dobbins, but he's a guy that's on my buy list this offseason.
I think what I would suggest to the listeners of the podcast, what I would suggest is with Javonte Williams, I would be comfortable selling him right now if you felt like you were a really good trader and could buy him back later. Like if you yourself know in your heart of hearts that you can go out into the market and you can acquire some Javonte Williams as he struggles in the early going, then wait. But if you know that you are not that trader and you get a chance to buy Javonte Williams now, I think you just buy him and let it ride.
Yeah.
The other thing I would suggest is if you are that guy that I was talking about in your heart of hearts, you know you're a trader. If you can unload some Javonte Williams now, say you're playing in a whole portfolio of leagues, unload some Javonte Williams.
Yeah, this has to be a portfolio take because you're not going to like trade him to one guy and then come back to that guy 6 months later and buy him cheaper. Like maybe you will, but you can't bank on that. This has to be
40 leagues.
This has to be in you trade him in 5 and then you add him in 10 others.
5 later in some other leagues later. Yeah. So I'm with you. Javonte Williams is going to suck out of the gate. It's not going to be pretty. He may not even start the season. Like he may not even play till midseason. But I think that once we get there and he's back healthy, we're set up for a smash with Javonte Williams.